2022 Porsche 911 GT3 PVOTY Review. A rockstar of a trackstar. The latest heat-seeking 911 GT3 is a driver's tool of rare precision. To the surprise of the few and the horror of those trying to purchase one for sticker price, the 2022 Porsche 911 GT3 represents yet another logic-defying accomplishment by the wizards of Weissach. We considered ourselves fortunate to attend the launch of the old 991.2911 GT3 in Spain back in 2017. Fortunate not only because that GT3 generation, the new GT3 is the 992.1, was magnificent, but also because attendees got to chase rally legend Walter Röhrl around a racetrack for 5 laps. Life was good. On a personal note, I mention this because I distinctly remember writing this next part before I drove the 991.2 version. The 991.1 GT3 marked the first time in my career I had nothing negative to say about a vehicle. Followed by, I don't have the foggiest idea how the company can make the GT3 any better than it already is. Although I suspect Porsche will tell me once I get to Spain. In other words, it was impossible to conceive how Porsche could even kind of improve upon the already spectacular 991.1 GT3. But it sure did. Fast forward to hours before the 2022 PVOTY competition began, and our judging panel collectively thought the same thing. Guess what? The unfathomable has been achieved. Again, a sampling of initial comments once the judges spun a turn behind the Porsche's wheel. "This is pure driving pleasure," features editor Scott Evans said. "Honestly, it's the only car that made me lose my breath." Features editor Christian Seabaugh added, "My gosh, this is such a good car." Deputy editor Alexander Stoklosa recounted, "I took this on 2 laps of the winding road circuit at the Hyundai Proving Ground, and by the time I exited, I was sweaty and feeling absolutely jacked, wanting more. Good thing for him we then went to the racetrack, no?" Director of Editorial Operations Mike Floyd said, "Holy hell, this thing is amazing. Wow. Yeah, friends, this car is absurdly great. It serves up unbelievable levels of performance paired with unbelievable levels of grip, head-wringing oral thrills thanks to a 502 HP humdinger of a 4.0-liter naturally aspirated flat 6 that revs all the way to 9,000 revolutions per minute, and perhaps most important, the best manual transmission in automotive history. Perhaps the 992 GT3 is not as laser-guided or quick as the other 2 big rear wingers present at PVOTY, the Lamborghini Huracan STO and the Mercedes-AMG GT Black Series, a whole host of McLarens, or even Porsche's own upcoming GT3 Rupees. However, this car boasts a solidity, an everyday ease of use, and the resulting desire to just drive it more and more. It's a deeply satisfying sports car that just so happens to have supercar reflexes." There's so much more to say. We haven't mentioned the Davante Adams-like way the GT3 changes direction. Or the switch to a double control arm suspension up front. Or how for the first time in Porsche 911 history, you don't need to trail brake your way into every corner, because, surprise, the front suddenly has copious grip. The front end is like a race car, or as Seabaugh put it, it digs hard into corners like a skate into ice. There's also the part about how with only 2 additional HP, the 992.1 GT3 is nearly 18 seconds quicker around the Nürburgring Nordschleife than the 991.2 GT3 it replaces. Anything we don't like? A couple of judges thought the ride quality was lacking, to the point Evans recommends never putting the dampers into sport. Not everyone agreed with him. But that's about it for the negatives, and once you're up to speed full bore with your hair on fire, you'll never mention or think about it again. As with the last generation, Porsche will eventually offer 3 slightly different versions of the GT3, starting with the standard car that is out now, an even more track-oriented RS model, and a touring variant that tones down the racy look by nixing the big rear wing. This time the GT3 Touring will be available with both transmissions instead of just the manual gearbox when it goes on sale early next year. We'd recommend taking advantage of the Porsche Experience Center. For $395, plus a $50 damage waiver fee, you will receive coaching and track time in your new Porsche at either the Atlanta or Los Angeles location. If you don't live in those areas, you can travel and book time in one of Porsche's vehicles instead. Prices for those experiences range from as low as $400 to as high as $900 depending on location and model. At the tail end of the 911 GT3 is a familiar naturally aspirated 4.0-liter flat 6 that makes 502 horsepower. The engine is essentially identical to the one that powered the last 911 Speedster we tested, which spun to 9,000 RPM and sung a hypnotic tune. The new GT3 offers both a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic, aka PDK, or a 6-speed manual. The PDK-equipped example we drove showcased the automatic's intuitive behavior as well as the engine's spirited responses and intoxicating soundtrack. The most notable performance upgrade on the GT3 is its control arm front suspension, which is inspired by the racecar version and is a first for a production 911. Combine that with standard adaptive dampers and sticky Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 or stickier Cup R tires, and the coupe's chassis provides tremendous cornering grip and unfiltered feedback. While the ride is undeniably firm, it's never punishing, and the electrically assisted steering is so divine that it deserves anointment as the best in the business. Period. Stopping the purists' Porsche are massive binders that include a carbon ceramic option that provides heroic braking power, easy modulation, and resists fade at the track. Fuel economy and real-world MPG. Neither the EPA nor Porsche have said how fuel-efficient the 2022-911 GT3 will be in the city or on the highway. Once those estimates are released and we have the opportunity to run one on our 75 mph highway fuel economy route, which is part of our extensive testing regimen, we can evaluate its real-world MPG. Interior, comfort, and cargo. The GT3's interior is very similar to the rest of the 911 lineup, with a clean design and simple layout that pays homage to past iterations of Porsche's quintessential sports car. However, there are a handful of unique characteristics throughout the cabin. The GT3's gauge cluster still features a prominent analog tachometer flanked by digital displays, but it gets a specific GT mode that puts all important information directly on the displays surrounding the central tach. Models with the automatic transmission also replace the stubby center console shifter found on the regular 911s with a traditional-looking handle that mimics a manual shifter. As in the last GT3, there's no cramped backseat for kiddos, but fur babies can snuggle in there if they can stand the noise. Porsche also offers more than one style of front seats, with an optional set of lightweight buckets designed to reduce mass and increase support. Infotainment and connectivity. The infotainment system found on the regular 911 finds its way into the GT3 version. That means a 10.9-inch touchscreen inhabits the center of the dashboard and is supplemented by some physical controls on the steering wheel as well as on the center console. The Porsche's connectivity features include wireless Apple CarPlay and a Wi-Fi hotspot. There's also an option to upgrade to a Bose stereo. Safety and driver assistance features. Driver assistance technology is not part of the GT recipe, with backup sensors and traffic sign recognition being the only options one might consider. Assistance features. For more information about the 911 GT3's crash test results, visit the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA) and Insurance Institute for Highway Safety (IIHS) websites. Warranty and maintenance coverage. Porsche provides a competitive limited and powertrain warranty that also includes one no-cost maintenance visit. Mercedes-AMG, for example, doesn't include any maintenance with the purchase of its car. Limited warranty covers 4 years or 50,000 miles. Powertrain warranty covers 4 years or 50,000 miles. Included maintenance is covered for 1 year or 10,000 miles. Pros. One of the world's best engine and transmission combinations. Extraordinary handling. Oh, the sound, the sound, the sound. Cons. Some may find it overkill for street driving. Ride quality not for everyone. Good luck finding one for sticker price.